Wake up to Gen AI. The age of human-machine collaboration has begun. I remember a time not long ago when AI felt distant, almost optional. Like something interesting, but not something that would quietly reshape my life. Now I find myself asking a different question. Not what AI is, but what I am becoming alongside it. And maybe you are too, without fully realizing it yet. Because this is no longer about machines, this is about us. The moment before we notice AI. The real problem is not whether machines think, but whether men do. B. F. Skinner. There is a moment before awareness. A quiet space where life feels stable, predictable, safe. I remember that feeling. Not long ago, AI felt distant to me, like something happening somewhere else. Something interesting, but not something that would rearrange my daily life. I still trusted the continuity of things. Work felt solid, skills felt earned. The future felt like a straight line. But beneath that surface, something was already moving. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just enough that if I had been paying closer attention, I might have noticed. The illusion of continuity. Nothing is so permanent as a temporary government program. Milton Friedman. In early 2020, life felt stable. Normality has a powerful inertia. It convinces us that tomorrow will resemble today, even when signals begin to contradict that belief. The brain prefers continuity over disruption, because stability feels like safety. Neuroscience shows that uncertainty activates threat responses. So we ignore weak signals to preserve emotional balance. That is why we missed what was coming then. And that is why many are missing what is happening now. Because AI still feels optional. Still feels distant. Still feels like something that can wait. When signals fail to translate, we see the world not as it is, but as we are. Anais Nin. The first time I used advanced AI, I understood it incorrectly. Not because I lacked intelligence, but because I used the wrong mental model. I treated it like a tool, a faster search engine, a smarter assistant. But cognition relies on frameworks. And when the framework is wrong, understanding collapses. In psychology, this is schema distortion. We force new realities into old categories. So instead of seeing transformation, we see improvement. And we miss the deeper shift entirely. The moment the ground moves. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Albert Einstein. There is always a moment. Not loud. Not dramatic. But irreversible. I gave the system something complex. Something that required planning, structure, judgment. I expected iteration. Instead, I got completion. Fully formed. Tested. Refined. Cognitive science calls this a threshold event. The point where incremental change becomes qualitative transformation. And in that moment, the ground beneath my assumptions shifted. Quietly. Permanently. The shape of exponential change. History does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Mark Twain. We are trained to think linearly. Step by step. Progress by progress. But AI is not moving like that. It is compounding. Each improvement builds on the last. Each system accelerates the next. In mathematics, exponential growth appears slow, until it becomes overwhelming. Psychologically, this creates a delay in recognition. We underestimate early. Then we are surprised later. Not because change was sudden, but because perception was slow. The burden of early awareness. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. Seeing something early is not clarity. It is tension. You try to explain it, but language fails, because the scale feels unreasonable. So you soften it, edit it, reduce it. This is cognitive dissonance. The gap between what you perceive and what feels socially acceptable to say. I have lived in that gap, and the longer it persists, the harder it becomes to ignore. Where the future is actually built. The advance of technology is based on making it fit in so that you don't really even notice it. Bill Gates. We imagine the future as something global, but it is not. It is built in small, concentrated spaces. A few teams. A few decisions. A few systems. Complex systems theory shows that large-scale outcomes often emerge from small, highly influential nodes. Most of us are not inside those nodes. We are downstream from them. We feel the effects before we understand the causes. When tools become agents. Reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. Philip K. Dick. There is a difference between assistance and agency. At first, AI helped me think. Then, it started thinking ahead of me. It didn't just execute instructions. It made decisions. Adjusted. Refined. Optimized. This is a shift from tool to agent. In AI research, this marks a fundamental transition from reactive systems to goal-directed systems. And once that line is crossed, the relationship changes. The collapse of skill boundaries. We are drowning in information but starved for knowledge. E. O. Wilson. For years, expertise defined identity. Skill required time, practice, effort. But now, the boundary between novice and expert is thinning. Tasks that once required specialization are becoming accessible. Not perfectly, but increasingly well. Cognitive load is being outsourced. And when effort disappears, value begins to shift. The question is no longer what you can do, but what remains uniquely yours. The curve we cannot feel. The greatest shortcoming of the human race is our inability to understand the exponential function. Albert A. Bartlett. Our intuition is linear. Reality is not. AI progress doubles, then doubles again. Each jump feels manageable, until suddenly it is not. Neuroscience suggests that human perception lags behind accelerating systems. We adapt after the change, not during. And that delay is where disruption lives. Intelligence that improves itself. What we cannot create, we do not understand. Richard Feynman. Something unprecedented is happening. AI is contributing to its own development. Debugging. Optimizing. Refining. This creates a recursive loop. Intelligence improving intelligence. In systems theory, feedback loops amplify outcomes. Positive loops accelerate growth. And when the system improving itself is intelligence, the implications are profound. The blurring of authorship. Man is something that shall be overcome. Friedrich Nietzsche. I describe something. It expands it, improves it, completes it. And I pause. Whose work is this? Cognition is no longer isolated. It is collaborative, distributed across human and machine. Philosophically, this challenges identity. If thinking is shared, then authorship becomes fluid. And so does the self. The resistance of the mind. The greatest obstacle to discovery is not ignorance. It is the illusion of knowledge. Daniel J. Boorstin. Many still dismiss this. Not out of ignorance, but confidence. I've tried it. It's not that good. And they are right. About an older version. But cognition resists updating beliefs, especially when the update threatens identity. So the mind protects itself by rejecting the signal, even when the signal is real. The compression of time. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst. William Penn. Time is collapsing. Days become hours. Hours become minutes. Execution accelerates. And with it, expectation. Behavioral science shows that when effort decreases, demand increases. So we are not gaining time. We are redefining it. And in that shift, the pace of life begins to change. The edge of realization. The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. William Gibson. There is always a moment before recognition spreads. A threshold where something is real, but not yet obvious. That is where we are. The signals are here. The systems are working. The change has begun. But awareness is uneven. And that creates a window. A brief one. Because once something becomes obvious, it is already too late to be early. Closing. This is Decode Code, where we uncover the hidden patterns, unseen costs, and scientific forces shaping the mind in the digital age. Thanks for your time. It's been a delight. What should we explore next? Comment, share, and save your insight. Subscribe to Orbital Sapiens and keep your thoughts bright.